Hey guys, hey, it's Mr. Lindhe here, and today we're going to be talking about multiplying decimals once again, but we're going to use the area method this time. If you don't remember, the area method is the one where we create the little box and we use the place values. Say we were doing like 63 times 15, and we do this right here, and we'd make a 6 would be worth 60, and the 3 was worth 3, then the 1 was worth 10, and the 5 was worth 5. Then you multiply it out, and you had like 600 here, and then you had 300 here, then you had 30, then you had 15, and then we had to add them up. So that would have been your answer to 63 times 15 is 945. Today, we're going to introduce decimals with that. And it becomes a little bit more difficult, but as long as you follow the steps, you should be good to go. I'm going to show you some tricks to do along the way, but let's just jump right into it and give a couple a try, okay? So first one we're going to have is 63 times 3.5. And you set up the area board the exact same way. So you have 60, and you have 3. And over here, first one is worth 3, but now the second one is worth 0.5. Now I also want to let you know that 0.5 equals 1/2. Okay? So as we're going through this one, 0.5 is something easy to remember, that it means half of a number. So that this one will be quite fun when we do it. So let's do the multiplication first. We have 3 times 60, we have 180. And we have 3 times 3 is 9. Then right here we have 0.5 times 60. And what I'm saying is, what's half of 60? That's 30. Or if you would have done the multiplication, 5 times 6 is 30. And then you'd have to, then you add a 0, and then you have to move it back because there's a decimal point there. We'll talk more about that later. We have 0.5 times 3, and what's half of that is 1.5. All right, now something that I do differently when I do this method, because the numbers are a little bit weird, I tend to add them right under the box real fast. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 8 plus 3 is 11, and I carry the 1. I'm going to have 210 right there. And then this, you have to remember, is 9.0. So this would be 0.5, this would be 10.5, right? So now on the side I can say 210, and I made it 210.0 to match up with the 10.5. So we have that, 0, 2. 220.5 is the answer to 63 times 3.5, or 63 times 3.5. Or what is 3.5 times 63? Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's take a look. Next one, let's do it the other order, or the other way. Let's go 2.3, and we'll go times 56. Okay? So what's 2.3 times 56? You know, it's going to be a little more than 2 times 56. So 2 times 56, we have 56 times 2 over here. Then your answer should be really close to 112. Okay, it's going to be a little bit more because there's a 0.3 added, but that's just my estimation or my guess of what's going to happen, and that's how I check for reasonableness. Okay, so let's set this problem up the same way. So we have 2, and then 0.3, and then we have 50 and 6. So same old regular multiplication across. 50 times 2 is 100, and then 6 times 2 is 12, and then 50 times 0.3, or I do 50 times 3. 50 times 3 is 150, and then since there's a decimal place here, I have to move the decimal over 1. So watch, I'll show you this. 50 times 0.3 You go 0 and 15. Now, when we go back, you have to look here. And you have to count how many numbers are after the decimal, and there's 1. So that means I put the decimal right here at the end, and then I move it back. So we have 15. Then 6 times 0.3, or 6 times 3/10 is 1.8. And all right, so here we have our answers. We have 112. And then we have, I make a 0.0, 8, 6, 16.8. We have 112 plus 16.8. Now I always go back and I put a decimal point and a 0 to make it adding so I don't mess up. Remember, because all the place values line up when you add. So 128.8 is the answer to 2.3 times 56. Okay, I know it's maybe a little challenging right now, but once we do a few, you will get the hang of it. Now let me get into one that you will run into that ends up having the hundredths in it. And we're going to have 7.23 times 15. And this becomes a bigger box. That's all. It's nothing too crazy, nothing that you can't handle or do. So we have 7, and then we have 0.2, and then 0.03, because it's 300ths. All I did was follow the place values of each of those that we've done before. And then 15 is 10 and 5. And I kind of took it easy on you here, but if you look, 10 times 70, or 10 times 7 is 70. And then 10 times 0.2. Remember, when you multiply by 10, all you do is you move the decimal to the right one. So this is 2. And then 0.3, all you do is you move the 0.03 times 10, and you move the decimal to the right one. So the answer is 0.3, or 3/10. Now 5 times 7, back here, is 35. 5 times 0.2, 5 times 2 is 10. That's actually 1.0. And then 5 times 3/10. So if I had 3/10 5 times, or 300ths 5 times, I'd have 1500ths. So I'm going to go like this. And then we just add them up again. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then these ones, just make sure that these are all lined up the right way. So if I had to, I'd go over here and go, oh, wrong number. If I had to go 0.3 plus 0.15, notice that I lined up the decimals. So it's 0.45. Now I'm going to take all these 3 down here and I'm going to add them up. 105 plus 3 plus 0.45. Now I'm going to put zeros after each of these, just so it's easier to add. 5, 4, that's 8, 0, 1. 108.45 is your answer. All right, guys, hope that helps you out. We're going to be doing more in class, but I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.